just so you know, each video is going to be 5 minutes, so you'll have to click on the next video after this video ends. Remember that you can pause at any moment. You're working from a blank sheet, so you may need to pause to write some things down. So the first one we're going to look at two things today. The first one we're going to look at is finding terms in between. If we've looked at this with arithmetic, we're going to look at it with geometric. Okay, so with arithmetic, remember, you need to get to let's see here. Okay, so you need to get the difference, right? Add the difference twice. Okay, to find the missing term. So you would do 2 plus 2 times d equals 18, and you would end up subtracting 2 from 18, and then dividing by 2 to get your difference. So your difference would be 8. Okay, so then you would add 8, and you would get your missing number, which would be, in fact, 10, right? And that would be for an arithmetic. Oh, we're going to switch these up. So that's arithmetic. Okay, for geometric, it's different because you're multiplying. Okay, so it's very similar in the fact that you have two terms between. So this was like your n, okay, if you can imagine. That was the number of terms you had in between. So here you're multiplying by your ratio, okay? So your first term is 2, and your ending term is 18. And then you have your ratio, but it's to the power of 2, because that's the number of terms you've had to multiply by, right? So 1, 2, so that would be r squared. So you divide by 2, you get 9 equals r squared, and you take the square root. So then r would be 3, but it could also be -3. Meaning this middle number could be 6, or it could be -6. And think about that for a second, because if I multiplied by -3 again, I would get back to positive 18. So if it's geometric, it may possibly have two different options. Okay, so that's 6 or -6. Okay, so let's do another example just so we get the hang of it. We have 3 geometric means. Remember, you can pause this at any time to write some things down that are between the terms 4 and 324. So that means there's 3 spaces between these numbers. So you would have to multiply the ratio how many times? 4 times. Okay. 324 is what you end with. 4 is like your first term. Okay, so you're multiplying the ratio, and there's 4 times you have to multiply it. Number of terms. Okay, and this was your first term. So you divide 324 by 4. And you get 81 equals r to the 4th. So what power to the 4 is 81? That's 3. Okay, but remember, you could also have had -3, okay, because it's the 4th power. So your ratio could be +3, or it could be -3. So we get the same ratio again. That's just by chance. That doesn't happen every time. So then if you multiply by 3, you would have 12, 36, and 108. If you multiplied by -3, you would have -12, 36, and -108. Okay, so you have 2 possibles for that. Now, if this number right here was an odd number, then you wouldn't have a positive or negative, you would just have a positive. Okay, so keep that in mind. So that's one thing that we looked at. Okay, the next thing we'll go ahead and look at in the next video, so you can just click. The last thing will be the sum of the geometric series. We've talked about sum of arithmetic, now we're going to talk about sum of the geometric. So go ahead and click on the next video.